Okay, hi guys. I am so dang excited to have Ambassador Diamond, Nayara Ribeiro with us. I'm so freaking pumped to have her on. It's so weird to say like her full name instead of being like, Nay's here. But I'm seriously so excited to have her, you guys. Let me just give a little bit of intro, okay? Because this girl's freaking incredible, okay? She literally has gotten six guys success bonuses. That is $24,000 in bonuses. Can we please give her a congrats in the chat, because that's freaking incredible. And what's even more incredible is the fact that not only has she gotten that for herself, but I'm constantly seeing her shout out her team left and right and center all over her stories for obviously getting the success bonuses and Punta Cana. And it is just so dang inspiring. I messaged her right away. I was like, will you please be on my Zoom, because I just need you to speak life into all my girls and give all the tips, because obviously she's doing something right. So my biggest tip for you tonight is to really dive into what she's about to say. I'm going to have her start with her story, because I know there's plenty of people that haven't heard it. So I'm going to have her start with her story, and then we're going to go straight into questions that I've gotten from my team and that I even have for her myself. And please take notes and listen to this. There's nothing like being live on Zoom and hearing from the leader herself what she is doing to be so successful. So Nay, I'm going to unmute you, and I'm just going to have you start with your story first.
Hi, everyone. The intro, Haley, you're so funny. Okay, so I'm Nayara. I'm 26 years old. I joined this business almost 7 years ago. So it'll be 7 years ago, April 27th. When I joined, I was a broke college student. I was 19 years old. I was working 2 jobs at the time, and I was just like going through the motion. So I was waitressing and a receptionist at a salon while going to school full time. So I was busy. Drop a 1 below if you're busy, whether it's school, jobs, moms, and just life. We're all very, very busy. So I understand, what it's like to juggle a busy life and still work this business in between. When I joined, I didn't think anything of the company. Cassie just begged me to join her. And I did. I always say jokingly, like, if this was a scam, I would have gotten scammed, because I did absolutely no research. I didn't look up the company. I went online, put my social security in, joined the business, and that's it. I did no research. I was literally ignorance on fire. And I think that that's why I was so successful, like right off the bat, because I wasn't looking left. I wasn't looking right. I wasn't looking for things like wrong in the company and the products. And it's so funny, because when me and Cassie joined, we come from a very small town. Like if you go to the gas station in Shelton, Connecticut, you're going to see like your entire high school class. So everyone made fun of us when we first joined this business, because think about it now. Now network marketing and like social selling and being on social media is so much more popular than it was in 2015. Okay. So everyone made fun of us. Like we would go out to the bars, people would be at the bar and look at me and Cassie and be like, does it really work? Like it works. Like people would make posts on Instagram about us. It was so nasty, but like, we didn't care, because we were on here to make money and to change our lives. Like we did not let any of those distractions get in our way. And I feel like so many times people nowadays, they're looking left, they're looking right. They're like, oh, but she said this, he said this, he should pyramid scheme. I'm like, if me and Cassie let that get in our way 7 years ago, we would not be where we are here today. So don't listen to outside noise. Okay. It's outside for a reason. And even my parents had something to say, but you know what? The best thing I did was not talk about the business anymore. And it was so hard, because my parents have always been very supportive of me. And they're fully on board now. Like they'll literally never say anything about this business now. This business pays for my own mortgage every month, so she better not be saying anything about it. So I'm kidding. She talks so highly of the business and brags about it to everyone. But even with my parents, like I did not even talk about the business with them, because they started to become negative about it. And what I did was I let my success shine through in silence. So I remember one day, I'll never forget, my mom was in her room and I was in the living room, and Cassie had posted my promotion about Double Diamond and my bonuses. And my mom yells and she's like, why didn't you tell me? And I'm like, well, you know, you haven't been super supportive and positive about it lately. So I've just been, you know, successful in silence. And then that's when it like really hit her. She's like, wow, like, okay, like I want to be here for you and support you. And I'm sorry that I have been negative in a sense to you. And ever since then, you know, I was able to prove to my mom, and like obviously now I've proven to every single person in Sean that's made fun of me and Cassie that this obviously does work. And 7 years later, here we are, like still here, like still like this is my only income. You know, I know a lot of people like do things like on the side and they have like other things in their life, but like it's really cool to say that like as of now, like I want to have like a ton of income streams, obviously like down the road, like real estate, all that stuff. But it's so cool to say that this is still my full-time income. Like I have nothing else that pays for my bills except for this business every single month. So, you know, I promoted when I got in really fast because I worked really hard, you know, and like a lot of people look and say like, well, she's been so successful, she's been able to do these things, but because I really put my all into this business every single day, and I still do every single day. Like, you know, ask Mitch, like he knows that like I wake up and like some days are very different. You know, some days I wake up, work my business from the second I wake up until the second I go to bed. And some days, you know, are different and we're out doing different things, but like I have not worked my business like ever since I joined, you know, and I still am here showing up for it every single day. Like it's blessed me beyond belief. Like 26 years old, I've been able to build my dream home. I obviously don't live in that anymore, but you know, that was such a huge accomplishment. Like when I was 23 years old, like I was buying and building my home. Like that's insane. Like that's stuff that like people in their 50s aren't even able to do. You know, I dropped out of college. I was able to pay off my student loan debt because I dropped out, but with student loan debt, and I was able to pay that off in 10 months. And I was on a 15-year payment plan with like the minimum payments every single month. You know, I pay for my mom's mortgage every single month because financially she just wasn't able to do that after my dad got divorced. The list just goes on, you know, like, and like, I didn't join this business for like the big things that I've been able to do, you know, like I literally remember joining and being like, okay, I'm going to get this Ruby bonus and I'm going to peace out, you know? And luckily for Cassie, she had a bigger vision. She joined already with like this vision that like, who even knows where she got it from, but I'm thankful for her because she was able to like create this vision for me beyond like my Ruby bonus and being here just for a month, you know, and like, that was so awesome. And like, she was able to create that vision for me. And then when she would get down about people talking crap about us, I'd be able to be like, forget them, you know, and we were there for each other in different aspects because our personalities are just so different. I have thick skin. She didn't at the time. And she had this big vision and I didn't. And it was so cool to like join with a friend. So if you have a friend or someone that you feel like could be really good at this business, offer it to them. That's what Cassie did to me. And like, if she hadn't offered to me, who knows how long I would have waited to join her, because I probably wouldn't have joined her because I didn't have the money to join. But this business has done so much for me. And the cool part is seeing what it's done for my team. You know, 7 years, like, man, it's been able to bless so many girls on my team. And like, that's the coolest thing because yeah, being successful for me. And like, that's what I joined, like for me, selfishly, for me, that's all I cared about, you know, but now it's changed so much because it would not be fun to be successful in this business by myself, but to see my team make money, make bonuses, come home to their kids full time, do this full time. Like, you know, I have so many girls that joined me within like a couple months and are still with me that do this completely full time and have kids now, or, you know, are married, and like this business has been able to support them financially. So that's like kind of my story in like a jumble, but it's been really cool just to see what this business has been able to do for me and like so many girls on my team as well. And I'm excited for the next freaking 7 years. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying that, but that's so exciting. But yeah.
Tell me why I'm like trying not to cry as I'm listening to your story. I'm like, this is like so good. It's like an emotional roller coaster.
I know, it's like all over. And that was like the weirdest, most jumbled up version of my story that I've ever told. Like, it was just like,
It was by far the best one that I've ever heard you tell. So hats off to that one. Drop it too if you guys related to any part of her story. Whether that is like helping out a family member, she pays for her mom's mortgage, or maybe you had people who didn't support you in the beginning. She had friends talk about them, people in her hometown, her family, and then now she's like, I didn't start with a big vision. How many of you now have a bigger vision? Drop a 3. You have a bigger vision of what you want for your life. It's not just about gas. It's not just about groceries anymore. It's bigger than that now. And maybe not even just for yourself, but, drop it through if you're, looking to help other girls. That was one of the things that took me a while to get going, was realizing I was here to help other women. Right. And to hear you say that, honestly, I had so many chills, like when you were just like, oh, I've been able to, help these girls come home to be with their kids and, obviously to pay for their wedding and like do all those things. And that's the thing, when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, like I never imagined doing the things that I'm doing now. And it's crazy because we have had you guys to really set that vision for us. And that's one of the reasons I want to have you on, Nay, is because you have such a big vision now for your life and for others. And so absolutely loved your story. So now I want to ask, because this was the most asked question, because obviously, like, I know that you are like not super public with, like enrollments and stuff on your stories sometimes. And sometimes I'm always like, what's Nay doing behind the scenes?
I know, I'm like so quiet.
But listen, hey, like success in silence, you said
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love it because I still see your stuff blow up. Like you're on my For You page on TikTok. Like you are like literally the first thing I see in like for Instagram. I'm like Instagram story, boom, there's Nay right at the front. Like, so tell me, like, what are your non-negotiables to bring in your enrollments, right? So whether it's like, I mean, obviously I know we don't enroll every single day. You know what I mean? Like the last 2 days, I didn't even enroll. So it's like, it happens, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah, I haven't enrolled yet today either. So
yeah. Wow.
it is what
Okay.
it is.
Drop a 1 if you haven't enrolled yet today, because she just said she's been in this business. She's been in this business for 7 years, been in the Millionaires Club, and she just told you that she isn't enrolled yet today. So you are just like her. There's no difference here. What would you say is like your non-negotiables to bring in those enrollments, every single week, because you are so consistent with that? So what are your non-negotiables for that?
Yeah. So for me, over the years, like, and this is something that like I used to not talk about, but I've learned that it's okay to have help, so I actually have an assistant. So over the years, and I'm not saying this, and I always say this, okay? And I hate when leaders get on Zooms and they say these things and then people leave thinking that like they have to like do the same thing that the leader is talking about. No, take these things that I say with a grain of salt. Okay. I've been here for 7 years. Like my organization has grown so much. Like I have a huge team. So it's like, when I first joined this business, did I have an assistant? No. Like, I did the work. I probably did not have an assistant for like years on end, but over time, it just started to like get really overwhelming. And like, I have help now. So I have an assistant that actually messages for me. So, but she messages for me. That's all she does though. That's my non-negotiable, like messaging, like my messages get out every single day. And even when like, I'm like today, like I haven't enrolled and like my phone's like a little more quiet, like I'm going out and sending even more messages on top of what she's already done. So my non-negotiables is cold messaging. Like I'll never stop cold messaging, because granted, my enrollments come from a little more different places now, like TikTok, and I'll start going into that in a little bit, like in my influencer application, but cold messaging still works, like just think about like emails, like how you get coupons and like ads pop up. Like that's their form of like cold messaging you and like letting you know, hey, there's a deal going on. And most of the time for me, I'm not going to go on a website like unless I get an email for a deal. If I get an email for a deal, like, hey, we have this deal going on, great discounts, like that's when I'll go on. And that's us cold messaging our customers. So cold messaging, non-negotiables. My second one, follow-ups. Every single day I follow up. So everyone that I talk to today, I'll go in and follow up with them tomorrow. And I do a 5-day follow-up system. So I have day 1 follow-up, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. And how that works is if I got Haley's number tonight, we're talking about the products, we're talking about, you know, thermophyte greens, coffee. And I give her pricing on it and she stops answering me. Tomorrow I'll do the day 1 follow-up. Okay. If she doesn't answer, that's fine. The next day I'll do day 2, day 3. And then let's say I send the day 4 one and she finally answers. Then we have a conversation again. And then I ask her if she wants to order and she stops answering. I'll send day 5. So I follow up with everyone consistently for 5 days. And then usually I kind of leave it at that because 5 days is like a long time to keep following up with them. And if they don't answer, that's fine. Eventually my assistant will get back to them again and message them again and unsend, resend, or ask them to do a hat for me. Like eventually I'll get back around to them. And actually today I got a number from a girl that already did the 5-day follow-up with her like 8 months ago. I think it was October. So I got her number today again. We're talking about products again. And tomorrow she's going to hear from me again, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Does that make sense, guys? A 5-day follow-up. And I do that with customers and distributors. And I do that consistently every single day. Like I do not go a day without following up because 50% of my enrollments are from follow-ups and 50% of them are like on the spot enrollments. So it's so important to follow up. So messaging, following up, posting on my story, of course, non-negotiable. Like I post every single day. Sometimes like I've been kind of bad with my story lately. Like I just forget and I've just been busy with like messaging and stuff like that. But I don't go a day without posting on my story, like ever. Even if it's 9 p.m. and I'm posting for the first time, like I'm still posting. You know, but just some days are just busier than others. And I'm like working behind the scenes so much, like with like answering messages and doing one-on-ones and things like that, but non-negotiable. Messaging, following up, stories, posting on my TikTok. I post on my TikTok every single day. I definitely have to get better with posting on Reels. But I post on Reels as well. I do like a profile post as well, and posting on Facebook. What else are my non-negotiables? Just like, you know, those simple tasks that we have to do every single day for our business are just, I think those, I don't think I missed anyone. Did I, Haley?
No, that was literally so good. Can I get some ones if you forget to follow up with people? Can I have
Kelly? She's a follow-up queen.
Yeah, literally. I was like, yeah, follow-up queen 100%. Guys, when I tell you she's not kidding when she says she follow-ups until they like sign up or she just comes back to them. So 5 days of follow-ups, drop a 2 if you don't do that. Drop a 2. Just drop a 2 if you do not do that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, Nay. I don't even do 5 days of straight follow-ups. Like, I don't even do that. But now I am. Like, now I am. And that's the thing about these Zooms is this is why I love this, is because you find out the people that are where you want to be. Can I get some 3s if you want to make $24,000 in success bonuses, right? If you want to do that, you should be following up for 5 days, right? Because I always look at, you know, what I'm doing and I'm like, okay, I can do more. Not saying I need to completely change my entire system, but I need to do more. You know what I'm saying? And it's actually great. Nay, have you recently changed your follow-ups? I got your follow-ups back in December. If they're the same, I have all of them, like follow-up 1 through 7. So
they don't
I have
change.
them in my board.
They don't change. You can even put them in the chat if you want. I keep them the same. Like some of my girls are like, does anyone have a good follow-up? And then I'll send the same ones. And they're like, oh, I already have that. I'm like, no, yeah, like I don't really change what I'm doing if it's working for me. You know, that's the thing too, guys. If like your follow-ups are working for you, the way you're doing things, do not change it. Keep doing what you're doing if it's working, you know. Do you scroll? What?
That's a good question. Yeah, read that one.
Okay, so how I do it is like, I've just like, okay, so I don't actually follow up on iMessage anymore because last year was a terrible year for me. That's why I have 2 phones, because my main phone and my only phone that I had literally like broke. It works now, funny enough, after I got a new one, but I was just getting blocked from iMessage so much from following up with people. So what I had to like find a way, because I was like, every time I followed up, my iMessage would just break and it wouldn't work. And I was just like panicking. I'm like, I need to find a way to get around this. How am I going to follow up? So bear with me. Okay. So I cold message Haley. She says, hey, yeah, I'm interested. I go, and then I send this message and I get their number right away. Okay. She sends me her number and I respond with this, texting you. So then tomorrow morning, I'll scroll all the way down to like yesterday to today's message, so tomorrow is what day? Tomorrow is Wednesday. So I'll scroll back to the first message on Tuesday and I'll work my way up on Instagram. And on your computer, if you have like a laptop or a desktop, you can see previews of the conversations on your computer versus if you go on your phone, you don't see, Instagram does not show you the preview on your phone. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I see previews. So I see every person that I said texting you on Instagram. So then I click it and from where I left off, whether it was day one, if I had just gotten Haley's number, the first follow-up I'm going to send is day one. If, so I can see the previews of the conversation. So I see the preview of where like the follow-ups were. Does that make sense, guys? Do you guys get what I'm saying? So I see the previews of the conversation from 24 hours ago. So that way I'm able to just use my next follow-up from Instagram. And then what I do is I send the follow-up on Instagram and within like 10 to 20 minutes, people are already answering. And then if I send the follow-up and someone answers, I go texting you. So I say it again, and then I take their number and go back to talking to them on text message. That way they're giving me the permission to text them again because we talked on Instagram and I don't get blocked anymore. And it's like amazing. Yes, you can see on your computer. So on my DM, like I open up my DMs on my Instagram on my computer and I'm able to see the preview of all my conversations versus on your phone, it just says like sent 20 minutes ago, seen 20 minutes ago. You can't see the preview. So you have to do it on the computer. So I do it on my computer. I'm mind blown so far. You guys are so funny. And that's how I do my follow-ups and that now I don't get blocked. It's so nice. So I do that day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, depending on where I left off like 24 hours ago. And that's how I work my way up on Instagram. And then once I'm done with my follow-ups, then I can start answering back to people again. I follow up with Haley and I send day 1 and she's like, yeah, I'm interested. I'm sorry. Yesterday was just such a busy day. I say texting you again. So I know that tomorrow that person, I have to send day 2 if she didn't order from me. And then I continue conversation over text message. It's a little confusing, but I just have to find a way around not following up on iMessage, and like I said, like eventually, what if they didn't read it? Do you still send a follow-up? Yes. If it does not show seen to Haley day 1 follow-up, I still will send day 2 because I still want to keep my follow-ups like in order. Like I don't want to not follow up because she didn't read it. I still want to send that follow-up so I can make sure I'm doing day 1 through 5 follow-ups and not missing a day with that person. Will you send 1 through 5? Yeah. Haley has all my follow-ups. She can send them all to you because I have them on a boards and I can't do my boards on my computer.
I do.
But Haley has all my follow-ups.
I do too. I have
what?
Boards. I have them on boards, and it's not letting me copy to my computer either.
Yeah. So if you guys need them, Haley will post them in Be Obsessed or Be Average or in your group page, or you can message me individually and I can send them to you. I just don't have boards on my computer. Yeah. I actually just got boards. Like I just downloaded boards the other day and I made a board. I was using word board, but I guess the cool people use boards nowadays. So I got boards and I know you can have the app on your computer, but I don't have it on mine. What if they didn't read it? Yeah. So I do that. Let's see. Yes. Can you send? Yeah. We'll send those follow-ups to you guys. Either contact me, Haley, or whoever invited you to the Zoom and we'll get you those follow-ups.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Average, and then if you want to comment like all of them 1 through 5, just drop them in the comments and I'll let you know when it's posted and you guys can go check. But I wanted to ask, so obviously these are all your non-negotiables. Is this the exact same thing that you're teaching your new girls, like when they first come in? Like obviously, you know, are you kind of teaching them your habits? Are you telling them to go straight to TikTok? How's it working with like your new girls in training? I feel like that's kind of like drop a one if you're a leader and this is a question that you have, because I feel like training in the beginning is a little bit more difficult because you're like, oh crap, do I give them a dirt list? Do I give them a cold message? Do I give them a Facebook post?
Right.
Like, what do I give them in the beginning? So what would you say is like basically your go-to move to like basically teach them those non-negotiables at the beginning?
Yeah. So I have a boards with training that I've kind of like, I think I've taken some from Haley, and then actually I was in a group chat with my leader, 𝐬𝐻𝐬𝐬𝐬. And she was training one of her DTs, and I kind of loved a little bit of what she was doing. So I added that in too. But, you know, I try to just teach them, you know, first go on to 𝐬𝐿SUITE, all that stuff. Like I have them put up like a weight loss post to their page, and I can also send this boards to Haley as well. And then obviously whoever wants the boards here, let me put my number here. You guys can text me, just say your name, and then I can also send you my boards and you can see, oh, I just sent it directly to one person. Oops, I sent it to Lauren. Here, let me put my number here. So if you guys want to text me to see my training, honestly, it's nothing special, but it kind of just walks people through, you know, making your first post, creating a dirt list. Let's text the dirt list. Let's put up a gummy post on Facebook. And then the next day, that kind of takes up a whole day because we're like talking to people and all that. Next day, it teaches them follow-ups. Then it teaches them to go, let's message 25 people on Instagram. Then I send them, when Corinne, she has like a milkshake website that she created for her team, and it's a cool place for them to go get stories from. So I use that. I send it to them, and then I will then say, okay, this talks about host to post and it explains like host to post. Do you understand? Do you have any questions about it? And it's like a kind of like a thing that explains how host to post works. And then if they don't have any questions, I have them put up a half, and then I have them go message for half. And then I have them go follow people. And I have a YouTube video that I actually got from Corinne as well that explains, like, it's like a screen recording of someone talking and showing how to follow. And then it kind of ends with like every single thing that we've done, like that's a wrap. Like everything that we've done here the past couple days, like if you do these things consistently every single day, like you're going to learn to be successful and, you know, be consistent in your business. And it's like really simple. It's just like telling them to message, telling them to host posts, how to respond to host posts, like just like daily little tasks, and kind of just at the end, like all you've done the past couple of days is all that you need to do to be successful in your business. And if you do these consistently every single day, you're going to learn to be successful. But it goes through like all my non-negotiables: messaging, host posts, posting, stories, follow-ups, and all that stuff.
Love that so much.
I see you guys texting me already. Hey guys.
Love that you're teaching follow-ups so early. Like, I love that.
Because yeah, like right away.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's definitely not something that like I have been doing. Like me, I'm like, oh, like that person didn't answer, let's follow up with them. But having a method for follow-ups, that's genius. I love that. So that's really great. And it's honestly so awesome that like, that you're like, okay, here's host to post. Cause like you said, are you doing host to post right now, Nay? Or are you mostly just sticking to like TikTok and Instagram?
Yeah, so I'm doing, I actually really love doing host posts on Instagram. So I'm doing the giveaway. I did actually a giveaway TikTok today and a giveaway reel. And then I'm having everyone put up a story for DTs for me. So I have to get more consistent with Facebook, but I do a lot of Instagram hat.
Awesome. I love that so much. And then do you teach your newbies to do the same, or do you teach them to do Facebook? Yeah.
So one of my girls, Addie, is actually on here, and she's absolutely killing it in her business. And hey, Addie! And she just joined me like a week and a half ago. She's killing it. Actually tonight I made her a story, and we're going to work through IG app. And I told her to let me know when people message her about it. And I'm just gonna like walk her through it, obviously. But I need to start Instagram. How do you make stories? Ooh, Selena, you know, you are asking the wrong girl. Haley made my DT Hap story. I am terrible at stories, guys. I don't even have over. Like, if I see an album like that people are in for stories, I'm like, add me in that because I need it. I'm terrible. I have no creative bone in my body. Like, you don't want me making your stories, basically. So sometimes I'll just like screenshot one of your guys' story, put my picture over it, and call it a day. Honestly, like,
I would see
yeah.
if your leader has like if like
Yeah.
your leader has a shared album. I have a shared album for like obviously that is for people who have iPhones. So I do have that, and I make my stories, to be honest, I make a lot of them on Instagram. Like I don't get like super creative.
Yeah.
The app that I do have is I do have Unfold. So whenever I do use Unfold, it's like $20 for the whole year to have Unfold, or you can get a free version, but it limits you. But I mean, $20 for the whole year is like amazing. But I was gonna say that as far as when it comes to like making them on Instagram and stuff, obviously it's like it's pretty easy to just do it like so simply. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like people get worried about like, oh, I need it to look this way or this fancy, or you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't. It definitely doesn't need to look any kind of certain way. Just be yourself, and you know, you can just post honestly. People don't even, I feel like nowadays, like we'll like make our coffee and put the wording on there. You know what I mean? And then just show a couple of results on like a blank colored page and be like, message me coffee.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't have to be anything too crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be any fancy, or, you know, like I said, do what I do. If you find a cute story, slap your picture on there over someone else's and call it a freaking day.
Yeah. Love that. Love that.
Oh, look at Addie. Addie said she would love to share some of her stories she made if you guys want to text her.
Amazing.
She's my new girl. She's on, look at her. She's on Canva making her own stories. She's better than me over here.
She just has a different strength, Nay. Different strength,
yeah.
Right? She brings a different
Guys,
strength.
I sent you all my boards that you guys have texted me. Let me know if you guys have any issues or anything like that accessing them. Because like I said, I'm new to boards. I literally texted Lindsay like 2 weeks ago and I'm like, how do I put this into my keyboard? So I'm new here. I think I sent it to all of you who texted me, but let me know.
Yeah, definitely. And also obviously save her number. You guys can text her after the Zoom too. So don't feel like missing out if she's not answering you right now.
Oh no, I answer everyone.
You're awesome. Thank you. So I have another question for you. When you're going through like a tougher season in your business and you're putting in like, and I feel like we've all felt like this, you're putting in more work than you're seeing like, results out of, right? What do you do to kind of push yourself through that rut of like slower enrollments to like still keep the faith, still have a good attitude? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like you've been in this for almost 7 years. You've seen every aspect of the business thus far. So like, what would you say, like, how do you keep that good attitude and keep the faith whenever there are slower enrollments?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that my business was like incredible 5 years in, like up to the 5-year mark, you know, and I had never really, like, I had gone through some ups and downs and things like that, but overall my business like was great, you know, like I hit ambassador within 3 years, millionaires club within 4. You know, my checks were amazing. Everything was like up, up, up. And then COVID. Okay. And it's crazy because a lot of people were having success in 2020, you know, and I feel like that's when my business kind of started to have its hardships. And for the first time ever, I was like dealing with things that I had never dealt with before my business, like checks like dropping tremendously. And like, I say tremendously, but like I look back and I laugh and it's like, you know, my checks were always paying my bills and beyond, like, you know, but when I say tremendously, I'm being very dramatic, but my rank and things like that. But like, I'm not even kidding you. Like I had some dark days. Like it was like tough. Like one day I remember texting Adriana, like I just had so much like stress, like, and nothing else, like nothing was even really going on. I just felt like my business wasn't where it was within the first 5 years. And I remember texting Adriana, I was like, I need you to like pray for me. And I actually had it in my notes, but it was like this long thing. And like, I read back on it some days that like, I'm just feeling down in my business. And it was like so good. And like, I just remember, praying, and just, I also talked to Cammie, and I was like bawling my eyes out. And, I feel like I had to go through those tough times to just appreciate a lot of like, it's almost like God was like telling me like, everything that I've given you up to this point through this business, like almost wasn't appreciated, or like, I just felt like entitled to that. Like, I just felt like, oh, because I'm working, I deserve that. Like, that's what I deserve, and I almost just too, like, I didn't like, feel like I was appreciative of the things that I had. Like, I'm not even kidding you. Like, it's so terrible to say, I built this amazing house, and I don't think I thanked God for it once. Like, terrible. And I'm like getting emotional, because it's like, I had to go through these things to realize, like, like, as fast that God can bless me with them, like, he could like make me realize that like, I'm not being present in the moment with like what he has blessed me with, and like, and within those 2 years, like, I really had to like take time to like, just like, dive deeper in my faith, first of all, because like, those were the times where like, I also remember Adriana telling me to like, I was going through something else at the time, and I was like, I forgot what I said to her. I was like, but I want things to be better now. Like, I want, like, how do I know it's going to get better? Something that I don't remember the exact, she comes back and says like, that's what faith is. Like, it's not seeing it right now, but it's believing that like, God's going to take care of you, or take care of that certain situation. I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's amazing, because I know what faith is, and like, I have faith, and like, but when we're going through these tough times, like, that's when we really like, our faith gets tested. And I feel like I just had to go through that to like, really just like bring me back to like reality, and like, being thankful. And like I said, like, I have this house, and I don't even think once, like, I sat and just like really reflected on like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't do this, like, God did. Like, he blessed me so much up to this point. And I just feel like I was just working and not being present with like what I was given and blessed with, and taking the time to like honor my blessings. You guys get what I'm saying? So I feel like I really had to just go through like, kind of like a low in my business, to really realize like how much I had been blessed with, and how much I'm going to continue to be blessed with. But I have to, be thankful for where I'm at, be thankful for what I'm going through, learn and listen to God during these times. Like, what are you trying to teach me? Like, that's what Cammie asked me to ask him. Like, what are you trying to teach me during these hard times? And I know my faith was just being tested, because at that time I really had to have that faith that was like unseen, because it's like, at that time you just feel so like down and vulnerable, and like, and just like lost. But also like, those are the times when I had to just like be the strongest in my business, and like work through those things, and just, my faith got stronger through that, for sure. Because like, I look, and it's crazy, because like, I actually got on a live on my team page the other day, and I journaled. I'm actually gonna pull out my journal. So I journaled. I don't journal often, but it was cool to see. Okay, so like I said, I don't journal often, but it was cool to see that day that I was like really like, okay, so my last journal entry was March 10th and the one before that was November 10th. And March 10th, I'm grateful. Like I'm saying everything's amazing. My team's on fire. Like I was just like writing all this like amazing stuff that I was thankful for. And November 10th, I'm praying because I'm struggling in my business. I don't know what I'm going to do. Not enrolling as much as I should. And as I want to, I feel lost. I was writing these things and it's like crazy to see like where, like how much can change over time and to look back at it. And like November 10th, when I was feeling lost and I didn't know what to do and I was feeling discouraged. But I was still writing all the things that I was grateful for. But my prayers were like, I feel lost. Like, I don't know what to do. And I was just like, talking to God. Like, that's what I write about. Just like what I'm grateful for in prayer section. Like, and it's just crazy to see like tough times versus good times, March 10th, November 10th. Actually, that's crazy. The 10th of both months. And to see like how much growth is in between of all that. So yeah, 5 months. So, yeah, so I don't even know what your question was, but through hard times, how I work, you just work, like I feel like I literally will never give up. I'll never quit this business, like no matter what. Like the 2 years that I went through were probably like the toughest years of my business wise that I had gone through. And I'm still here. Nothing's bringing me down, as long as I got God with me, and I always will, like I can get through anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, now I'm gonna cry now. That's just wow. That was so incredible. Can we get some love for Nay in the chat? That was so amazing, Nay. Thank you so much for sharing that, and even your journal entry. That was so awesome. So thank you so much. And honestly, I think sometimes we can really get into our heads and maybe feel like it's the end of the world on just one day of not, right? Or one bad message. And it's just so good to see always the bigger picture that you're not in this for just today and tomorrow, you're in this for the long haul, and it's a business. It's going to look and feel like this. And something that you touched on, that was one of the biggest questions I got was about your circle and why it's so important. Someone asked, why is your circle so important? Like your circle of friends. What would you say about that, Nay? Because obviously like this business, it's so crazy. Like the friends I started when I joined this business is totally different than the circle of friends that I have now, because they're more supportive, they're more loving. So why would you say that, like, and you were even talking about the stuff that you shared, you were like, I stopped sharing stuff with my mom until she, really supported me. And I love that so much. I wanted you to touch just a little bit more on that and just talking about like what you share things with and like your circle and why that's important to your business.
Yeah, I feel like hold on, my vacuum's going. Gotta turn her off. She'll be loud and distracting during the Zoom. Hold on, guys. Sorry. She's loud. But your circle, I feel like as I get older, and I'm not even that old, I'm only 26. I feel it's so weird saying that, but I feel like as I age, okay, my circle's just gotten so small over time, and that's okay. Like I feel like in high school, me and Adriana used to be like friends with like 13, 15, 20 people. And it's just like, as you graduate high school, college, and then it's like when I got in this business, like it just kept getting smaller and smaller over time. And I feel like within the past 2 years where my business was kind of like rough patches, I just realized that like who I want to like give my time and energy to, and I have this conversation a lot with like Adriana and Mitch and stuff like that. And it's like, sometimes it's like, I've just learned that like, if you're, I just feel like I'm a really good friend and I love people really hard, but it's like, if I also like don't have a hard time just being like, if you're not in that circle for me and you're not like like fueling my fire and like encouraging me and uplifting me, like I just don't have the energy for that anymore. You know, I don't like want to put the time and effort into that if like that person isn't like matching me and my time and effort that I'm putting into them. You know, I feel like over time I've just learned to just be like, if she's not being a good friend, then I don't want to be her friend, you know? And I feel like it's kind of took me some time to do that because I feel like I am a people pleaser and I want to be everyone's friend and I want to like be on everyone's good side and things like that. But I also like have to protect like myself and like the time and energy that I put into certain people. And it's like, if you're not going to have like, if you're not going to be a nice person back to me, and if you're not going to be a good friend, like I can't be like pouring all this into you if you're not going to like do the same back for me, you know? And I don't know. I feel like over time, like even some of my leaders, you know, that I was like best friends with, like some I don't even talk to anymore because it's just like, you know, if you're not gonna like give me what I'm giving you, I just like don't want it. It's just that's just like kind of my mindset that has been lately. And it's like I don't like end things on bad terms with people and stuff like that. I just like don't talk to them anymore. You know, if like I'm going to be putting effort into like hanging out with you, but you're not going to do the same for me, then I'm going to stop putting in the effort to hang out with you. You know, if I'm constantly giving you advice and lifting you up and giving you words of encouragement, but you're not doing the same for me, like I'm going to stop doing that. It doesn't mean that like I'm going to be mean to you or anything like that. Like, but I'm just not going to keep putting like my energy into someone when they're not doing the same for me, you know?
Love
It
that.
should always be a two-way street in anything, your friendships, your relationships, like with your parents, anyone, you know, with your freaking dogs, you know, anyone. And if they're not doing the same for you, and if it doesn't feel good and it's not fueling your fire and making you feel good, like I'm just not about it anymore. And like I said, I don't end things on bad notes with people and nothing like that. I just don't talk to them anymore. And I just don't put as much effort as like I used to, you know? And yeah.
I love that. I love that because it makes me think of this analogy. And I don't know if you've ever seen this anywhere, Nay, but it's kind of
Mhm.
like, and I know I've even had talks about this with like literally like everyone on my team. But I always
Yes.
say, like, if you're emptying your cup, who's filling it? You know, who
Right.
are the people that are filling it and what are they filling it with? Because you are the 5 people that you talk to and you surround yourself with. And if those people are the ones that are constantly sending you the negative text message, you know, all the negative or anything that's toxic or, oh, my life is this, woe is me, like all these things, it's like, okay, you have to put your energy and your time and get your cup filled by people who are bringing you good things, good news, right? And supporting you and cheering you on and asking how you're doing. So I love that so much, Nay. Thank you for talking about that because there has been, I mean, even in the business, you know, I haven't been in it as long as you have, but I've been in this for almost 4 years. And it's
Right.
just crazy, like you said, like the people that I like hung on to that weren't actually filling my cup at all, right? But I
Right.
was filling theirs. And it's just so amazing to see that, like, you know, those people that obviously are there to fill your cup, they will come around, right? And so I love that. And you guys can obviously meet those people in this business. This business is filled with so many good-hearted women that are willing to support you and love on you, even pray for you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff I didn't get before I was in this business. Like you said, like you were talking about your faith. Like my faith was almost non-existent coming into this business, and now I can't imagine like not having God in my life every day. So it's just one of
Right.
those things where, you know, you grow in this business, and it's okay if your circle grows. Okay. So one last question, Nay. Sorry, I know you have been talking for so long. Can we please?
Oh, I'm not in a rush. Good.
Thank you so much. Can we give her some love in the chat for staying on for an hour, guys? She's amazing. I had one last question for you, Nay. My question is, so you've obviously been in this business for almost 7 years. You've been in this for a really long time. What would
Yes.
be your biggest tip to us when it comes to building this business long term? right? So you did talk about a little bit about that, about going through those tougher seasons. But if you could leave us with like one tip, literally anything for us to build our businesses long term, what would your tip be?
Okay, so I would say, well, two things. Consistency. Like literally there's no secret to this business other than being consistent every single day. You know, if you're a type of person that you need a day off, take the day off. You know, I love this business. Maybe I'll take like a nap on my couch for an hour or two. That's like my break, but like I love working this business and I work it every single day, and I don't think I've ever really taken a full day off, you know. Maybe when I'm like making like multiple black diamond figures, I'll take days off. Okay. But I think that consistency is the secret to success in this business, is just being consistent every single day, like literally every day, no matter what you're going through. Like I was moving 3 weeks ago into this new place, and I remember Kelly texting me, and I was just like telling her I was so busy, and I was like, I need to get all this done like today. But I still was like posting on my story. Like I hadn't posted all day until like, I remember like 6 p.m. I finally got on and posted, and I ended up having great stories that night, followed up like, you know, business. And I posted a little bit like of good content in between, and it ended up being good. It worked out really good for just posting at 6 p.m. that night. But like so many people have excuses. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, blah, blah, blah. Like it doesn't matter, guys. Like this business could be worked into your life like very, very, very easily. Okay. No matter how busy you are or what the heck you're doing, like it doesn't matter. Like anyone can do this business at any time. So my number one tip is consistency, is being consistent, even when you're not seeing the results. Okay. Like when I was saying when my business was bad, like I wasn't seeing great results, you know, but I feel like I've reaped the benefits of all the hard work I had done, you know, leading up to like, even when Christmas cash was announced in October, you know, like I feel like that's what changed everything in my business, income wise, and like my fire and bringing in new people. And like, you know, that just helped my mindset a lot, obviously, with like me bringing in new distributors. Cause like I was feeling good. So I knew that I was going to be able to train people and like bring that fire to them. So consistency, key. Also for me, I love like nice things. Okay. So what fuels me is like having big goals and dreams, you know, like I, every month, like I feel like you have to just have like little goals, you know, like whether it's like, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. And if you're not a materialistic person, that's fine. Does giving back fuel your fire? Okay. What do you want to do with your money? Where do you want to donate to? Who do you want to help? You know, for me, multiple things fuel my fire. Like I pay for my mom's mortgage every single month. My first 10% of my income goes to church every single month, you know, like, so like I've learned to love to give back. So that's what fuels me every single month, you know, giving back in those ways, the first two things that I do. Then I'm able to like save, obviously, and treat myself to little things that I want. You know, I had like so many things on my dream board that I was able to be like, you know, like I pray to have these things one day. And once you're able to accomplish those things, it's so exciting. So like I said, find what keeps you going. Also, what keeps me going is never having a 9 to 5 ever. Like when I woke up the other day, I don't know if a lot of you follow me or saw my story. I posted a story of being in bed, and like, I think I woke up at like 10:15, you know, and I don't do that every single day. I did that yesterday because I was just tired and I didn't want to wake up, and because I could do it. And, you know, I woke up and I was like, man, Mitch was already in his office here in our house working. I was like, he had to get up to an alarm that I heard go off 3 hours before I got up. And I'm like, man, that sucks. He's in the other room, so I don't want him to hear me. I'm like, man, that sucks. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. Like, you know, I get to sleep in and work my business whenever I want, you know? And I got up, I think it was like 11:30, and I was like making my matcha, having a slow morning, so those are my things. It's like giving back. I've learned to love to give back. I didn't even know what tithing was up until 7 years ago when I first joined this business, and Cassie explained it to me. And every single month since I learned the importance of that and what it means, I do that to the church I attend to and giving back to my mom. I've learned to love to give back, and I didn't love that before, but probably because I didn't have the funds to do it. That's what fuels my fire. And then materialistic things that I like, I like clothes, I like shoes. If I want a new bag or a vacation, like I make little goals and dreams of what I want to accomplish within my year. And then what was my, and never going back to work ever again, so those three things right there fuel my fire to keep going, even when it gets hard, because I'm like, even my hardest days with my business now will never compare to my days before this business. Like those days sucked, being broke, not having money to, like, if I go online and I see a GoFundMe that I want to give back to, I'm able to do that. Before, I remember scrolling and not being able to do those extra things, so those things now fuel my fire. Like, find what fuels your fire. Like I said, we're not, maybe me and Haley are very different. Like maybe her goals and dreams aren't to get a Louis bag, or something like that every year. You have to find what fuels your fire. Like I said, if giving back and helping your mom or helping your grandparents or paying for your sister's school or whatever it is, find what fuels your fire and what makes you feel good. And always think of that when you're having a tough day or you want to give up or you don't want to keep going. And then remember that being consistent in your business, even when you're not seeing the results you want to see, like, it still pays off. Just because I'm here where I'm at today, like I said, doesn't mean I don't struggle. And it doesn't mean that there's days that I'm doing all the things that I have to do. Like today, did all the things that I had to do, plus more, and I still haven't enrolled, but doesn't mean I'm going to be like, oh, giving up. I haven't enrolled. Like, it's the end of the world. No, like my consistency from today will maybe pay off tomorrow. Maybe I'll wake up tomorrow and enroll 5 LCs. Who freaking knows, But if you stop being consistent, you're just delaying your success, because like the more you're not consistent, the more catch up you're going to be doing. Like if you don't message for 5 days, don't expect to message day 6, start messaging on day 6 and enroll the 7th day. No, now you got to message for 6 full days to catch up for the 6 days that you lost on your business, Nay and her matcha. Yeah, I freaking love matcha. So consistency and find what fuels your fire. Okay. Because I feel like those things I think about, like yesterday, I thought about like, man, if I didn't have this business and if I stopped working or if I quit, I'd have to be waking up with Mitch and working a clocked in job and clocking it out. And I don't have to because I have my business. So yeah. So, everyone's so different, there's different things that fuel everyone's fire. And I've learned to know that, with like, even Mitch, like he doesn't shop for anything ever. And I'm like, then what the heck fuels your fire? And I know what fuels his fire are different things than what fuels mine. So find what really gets you going and what are the goals and the dreams you want to accomplish with your business and with the money that you're able to make in your business. It doesn't have to be all for you. You could do so much good, with giving back, with saving, with, treating people, and find what fuels that fire. And, think about that every single day when you're not having a good day or when you want to give up or you want to not message or you want to, not do the things in your business every single day.
I love that. Me and Mitch are like 2 peas in a pod, because I remember the day that Lindsay explained what a Louis Vuitton was to me, and it was the highlight of my day. I finally understood what people were.
That's why I said the Louis thing. I'm like, I want a new bag. Haley doesn't even know what freaking Louis is. Everyone's so different, and what fuels my fire is what's going to fuel everyone else's. But you just got to find what that one, like couple things that you want, and just think about those things, like when you're just having a bad day or when you don't want to do something in your business.
Love that. Thank you so much, Nay. I love that so much. And can we all say thank you to Nay for all those tips, because that was amazing. And honestly, just hearing you say consistency over and over again, and you've been in this for 7 years and you're still preaching working the business. Like you said, you're like, I don't go to bed and there's nothing on my story, right? You don't go to bed and there's nothing, obviously like on your pages, right? We see you everywhere and you're so consistent. So thank you so much for just all of your tips and sharing everything that you're doing. I am so excited to see what you and your team do the rest of this month and the rest of this year. And we're just so grateful for you, Nay. So thank you so much. And I hope everybody has an amazing night. Thank you guys.
This was so fun. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, you're so welcome. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your night and go rock out this month. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.